In this video, we have to determine whether the two function, the first one is f of x and the second one is g of x, if they are inverse of each other or not. Now, if we want to find if the functions are inverse of each other, try to find the value of f of g of x. And if this value comes equal to x, I mean if the composition of two function is an identity function, also if you find the value of g of f of x and that is also equal to x, then we can say that two functions are inverse. So let's first try to find out the value of g of x. Again, we have two functions. Let's keep the first function as it is, and you have to find the value of g of x. But we can clearly see that g of x is already 1 over 3x minus 3. So in this, I will still keep f as it is, and I will replace g of x with its value, which is 1 over 3x minus 3. Okay. Now, I have to find the value of f of 1 over 3x minus 3. But I know that f of x is 3x plus 9. Now, but our new x is 1 over 3x minus 3. So what I'm going to do is, simply I'm going to delete this old x and I would replace it with the new x, which is 1 over 3x minus 3. Now, next step, we have to just simplify this. How do you simplify? Simply distribute this 3 to these two terms. When you multiply 3 with 1/3 is 1, so it's 1x. And when you multiply 3 with negative 3, it's negative 9. And we know that if you have a same number with opposite sign, you can cancel it. It's 0. So your final value is x. So we can clearly see that the value of f of g of x in this case is x. Now, we will try to find out the value of g of f of x. So again, keep the g function as it is and try to find the value of f of x. We can clearly see in this particular question, the value of f of x is 3x plus 9. So what I am doing is, I am actually replacing f of x with 3x plus 9, but keeping the g function as it is. Now, because we have to find the value of g of 3x plus 9, if it is only g of x, the value is 1/3 of x minus 3. But now, since our new x is not this, our new x is 3x plus 9. You will plug in that and then you distribute again. So once we distribute this, so it's gonna be 1/3 times 3 is x, and 1/3 times 9 is plus 3 minus 3. Again, we can clearly see that positive 3 and negative 3, when they combine, they will cancel, they will become 0. So your value is again x. Now, we can clearly see in this particular question is that since both f of g of x is equal to x and g of f of x is also x, we can clearly see that the function f of x and g of x, they are inverse functions. Now in this example, let's try to find out if these two functions f of x and g of x are inverse function or not. Again, we will repeat the same process. We will find the value of f of g of x. We are the first function fx as it is, and we will try to plug in the value of g of x. And in this case, the value of g of x is 2 into square root of x. And again, in f function, the value of the f function is 4x squared. But remember, our new x is not this. Our new x is 2 root x. So we have to find the value of 2 root x square. Again, 2 root x square means 2 root x times 2 root x. And when you multiply 2 times 2 is 4. And when you multiply square root of x times square root of x is 4x. So we can clearly see that our value is 4 times 4x, which is 16x. So f of g of x in this particular question is 16x. So remember, in the previous example, I told you if your f of g of x is coming x, then they are inverse function. But in this case, your f of g of x is coming not equal to x. So we can clearly say that function f of x and the function g of x, they are not inverse functions.